are back for the attack in relation to the Flash Comics 78. So this is the first wrap, as everyone knows. This wrap I leaf casted with my leaf casting table, and it came out awesome. And the leaf casting table was necessary because, as everyone knows, the spine was missing, so I had to create spine with the paper pulp. So you need the suction. I cleaned it off a little bit. There are a few pieces of pulp. I clean the pulp off of the cover in different ways, but one way I like to do is with a sharp eraser. And when I say sharp, cut it in a sharp angle. And just like I did, I slowly go over areas where there is pulp that I do not want, and it cleans up nicely. So this is the wrap, as I said, that I did with the leaf casting table. Now, these are all the wraps that I have done off camera. So I've done a nice amount. And what I want to do is I want to show you the wrap that I did without the leaf casting table. This is it. And it came out really well. And I would recommend that if there are people out there who want to try it, you can do it without the suction. I wouldn't recommend doing it or say that it's the best method doing it if you are missing a spine, because the suction really helps bringing the paper pulp where it needs to be. However, you can still do it. And I'm going to do right now 2 sheets, okay? I am going to do 2 sheets together at once because I'm trying to speed up the process by which I can finish leaf casting all interior wraps. But I have to say, so far, I believe that this is the best leaf casting job that I've done for interior pages. And I want to give credit to Mike Night Tiger, his Captain Arrow book that I did, or Arrow, I don't know, the book that I did, because I really learned a lot with it. Like every other book I do, I learn. So this is coming out really great in my opinion. And I want to say one thing as well. You may say, Jerry, why is the top and bottom cut and not the sides? I'm going to do a new method when we're done. I think I explained it, where I want to cut both sides of the pages once they are all done, and I want to cut them when the book is folded, and I'm going to put the staples in. And the reason why I want to do that is another issue I had with Mike's Night Tiger's book is that when you cut every single page independently, it's very hard to get the exact measurements of each page, so when they're folded they line up perfectly. I did a nice job with Mike's book, but it wasn't good enough for my standards, so I want to amp it up and try to do better. So the up and down cut is a lot easier to do because the vertical cut, or no, this would be, yeah, the vertical, I guess, up and down, because I can measure it precisely. The issue with cutting the sides is when you fold the book, like if you have a big money fold that you fold over, the outer bills or the outer pages in a comic sense, they become shorter because of the thickness of the book. So by me cutting it when it's folded, I'll be able to get a perfect cut because it will be folded, the measurements will be set, meaning the sizes of the pages will be set. I'm just trying to devise a plan how I'm going to do it without messing it up, and I have a few things in the works. So I'm going to put this to the side. Let's set up the leaf casting because we're going to do 2 pages at once. So stick with me. This may be 2 uploads because it may be a long one. So let me set up everything so we can get rolling. Okay guys, we're back. I have my paper pulp, and what I've been doing is when I cut the top and bottom of the sheets that I've been working on, what I do is I reintroduce, I reintroduce the pulp into the mix because I can just add it in, I let it soak, and then it creates more paper pulp the same color. I'm gonna stir it up now a little bit. Okay, that should be good. So what I wanna do, and again, this is going to be 2 wraps at once, and I'll show you how I'm gonna do it to try to essentially speed up the process, because I have to get the ball rolling if I'm going to be doing this a little bit faster. And we're going to try 2, like I said, wraps at once, not at the same time, but one after the other. And then we're going to dry them together as well. So it's going to be interesting. So what I want to do is let's get the wrap that we're going to be working on. This is an interior wrap. I cleaned it with chloramine T, hide shrimp peroxide, and palm olive soap. I also, what I did was concentrated on some of the stains. I didn't go crazy. I could spend days on this if I really wanted to, but I am not, because we're not going to make it perfect. We're going to do our best to get it perfect, but you have to do a cost-benefit analysis. So how are we going to do this? Let's put our film, and let's start on this side. And when you do the leaf casting without the suction, you just have to be patient. I like to press down on the film, and then we're just going to get rolling. We're going to start laying the pulp, and we're going to let it drop down through. This is Holytex, so we'll let it drop down. And the key thing in doing it without the suction paper, without the suction table, is that you have to layer it. You can't do one heavy layer of the pulp because it will not suck down by the gravity. You just have to, it will, but it takes time because the water will slowly make its way through the Rimet or Holytex, whatever you use, and it will eventually lead down into the wee pad. So when we're waiting, let's go to the other side and let's put the film paper that I have. Make sure you give it a little run with your finger like that, because you want it to suck down onto the paper to try to minimize the amount of pulp that goes on the graphics. And as you see, I do a few runs back and forth. I try to be consistent, and I try to do it like I'm painting. So you want the pulp to lay even. So that was good. Now let's go back to this side. And really, this is, like I said in the past, a method that can definitely be done without all the gadgets. Just use your finger, you move away anything that goes on the film without the gadgets that I have. And if you want to try to experiment using this method without any type of suction, it could be done. So right now it's sucking down. Let's remove the film. because now I want to do the spine. Now the spine in these inner wraps are really not that bad, okay? But I do want to put some type of reinforcement on it because the staple holes are a little weak, they're a little big, but we're not going to go crazy. So what I'll do is I'll put the film in the spine on each side. We'll run our fingers just like that. Right here I see some graphics are popping out. We don't want that. We want to try to be neat. There you go. So right now we have paper missing on the bottom and top. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to put paper or paper pulp on the top and on the bottom, just like that, just to lay the foundation. And we'll do the same on the top, and we're going to have to do several applications just like that. Now what I'll do is I'll just gently put some pulp going up and down, not a lot, because I'm just reinforcing the spine just a little bit. So we'll let that sit. Now right here I can add some pulp. I see we need it, even though the film is not there. And let's now do another application on the bottom, application on the top, and we'll just do one more going up and down. That's it. So let's let that sit, not for long, and let's take this off. And now let's go back and let's hit another time the left side of the book, and then let's hit another time the right side of the book. And it is, I have to say, a little relaxing doing it this way without the suction. It's not that I am not going to use the suction table again. 100% I am going to, but it's just a little different method, and I'm trying to speed up the process. And when a wrap is in pretty good shape like this one, we can do it this way, and you can do it this way if you desire to do it. If you want to be crazy like me, you might as well try it, right? So there we go, another row there. Let's do one more row here, and then I'm gonna let it suck down by gravity and or capillary. I don't think it is because there's no paper towel. I don't think the Rimet is pulling it down. So that's good. Now I'm gonna take my plastic film off. Let's put it one more time on the spine because we're gonna hit that one more time. And then after we hit the spine one more time, we're gonna do very lightly the bottom and the top of the wrap. Because if there is paper there, excuse me, we don't need to go crazy with putting a lot of pulp. We just want to fill it in a little bit. And another important thing in filling it in like this is that we are adjusting the color. And when I say adjusting the color, we are adding pulp to the existing paper, and that's why the color of the pulp is very important, and that's why one side always looks better than the other. So what I want to do now is I want to do the bottom. So let's switch to the bottom of this wrap, and I'm going to slowly put the film like that. I'm going to hold it, and I'm just going to put a little bit of the film on it, a little bit of the pulp on it, because we're in pretty good shape. In fact, I don't even think I'm going to put any pulp there because the paper is in pretty good shape, but what I want to do is I want to blend this a little bit better, because we did fill in a chunk down here. So we want to blend it into the existing paper a little bit better, just like that. So what will happen is the piece that I filled in will flow better to the existing piece, and it will give it an overall better appearance. Now this right here, I want to blend in the top as well. So I'll just put a brush here to block the pulp, and I'll just round it off a little bit, just like that. And then I'll do the same here. We want to round it off by adding some pulp so it doesn't look like just a line of new pulp. So right there, we rounded it out nicely. Right here, I see a little piece. We can take it off. I can take it off like that. And I'm going to add a little bit more right here, just so when I cut it, it is a little stronger. And I can add a little bit more here. I see it without having to put the film, because it's not much pulp that I laid. So what we have here though is that there are no rips on the bottom, so I can easily just put some pulp here and it will suck down just like that. Just like that. So we can, like I said, round it and blend it in better when we do the cutting, because it's all about appearance. To a degree, you want to try to make it as best as possible. Now, this bottom right here looks pretty good, but I can easily put some pulp here as well, just to blend in the pulp that I put here. You want to blend it in a little bit more. Just like that. Now what do we have here? We may come back to that, but what we have here, we have a chunk that's missing. So we're gonna have to fill that in. So what I'll do is I will do a whole row of pulp on top of this page, just like this, and we'll let it soak in and fall down. Then when that dries, what we'll do is we'll add a little bit more as well. And when I say dry, I mean when the water falls down into the bottom wee pad. And this is what you have to do. As you see, you have to be patient, because it does take time without the suction. You have to sit and wait and let it fall down naturally. And that is what I'm trying to do here. And that's why sometimes the suction is it is better. There is no doubt about that. The suction table is better, but I am showing that it could be done without the suction table if you just are a little patient and you let the pulp fall down in place. You'll have no problem doing it this way. So right now, guys, I think we're pretty good. I'm going to add a little bit more, and I'm going to let this sit for a while naturally, and we're going to let the pulp fall down naturally without the aid of suction. And when I come back, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do 2 pages at a time. So I'm going to cut this upload now, because I'm sure it's going a little longer than it should. But the next upload, we will be right where we left off. There is not going to be any gap in time. is just going to be that I'm spreading the uploads into 2 segments. And I'll put a little bit more here, and I'll show you how I'm going to do it. So thank you for watching. Next upload you'll see will be right back in the same place, and I'll see you shortly.